Hello and welcome back. I'm Shelf Unit and this is my continuing Let's Play Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition. Okay, so last time we took up a mission to investigate the bloody murdering that's going on in this area here. And here we have the body of Tong. And I've got a bloody wall over here which I was just about to look at before we ended the episode. So let's go in. The smeared blood on the wall remains congealed and disgusting. Plasma has begun to separate out into a thin yellow film at the edges of the splatters. Somebody's not been watching CSI. Okay, is there anything else around here? No, let's open this door. And take a look at the desk safe. Tong's desk drawers are open and the safe that's built into one of the sides has been opened. There's no sign of tampering and the green light next to the word unlocked is blinking. Whoever opened the safe did it with a key fob. Inside are several blank cred sticks, but no sign of any money on them. Looks like someone looted his stash. A guy like this wouldn't keep only empty cred sticks in his safe. So look at the bathroom. Tong's bathroom is immaculate and the drains are tiny. Whatever killed him didn't exit through here. What is this? This is a Yamaha 95000V SimSynth, a device for mixing and mastering SimSense chips. Several drive bays are empty and all of the chip jacks are empty. The screen is flashing a repeated error message. Warning, requested files cannot be found. Please return drives to bay and try again. Have Isabel debug the SimSynth. Isabel rattles out some commands on the SimSynth's keyboard, stepping away after a few seconds with a look of satisfaction on her face. There, I've put the drive warning on suspend. It's in diagnostic mode only though. Maybe we'll learn something, maybe not. Yamaha Sim OS 5.23 system diagnostics check memory OK, drive error, assist bus OK, beginning core dump, please wait. Isabel studies the screen in detail as letters and numbers scroll by. Looks like Tong was clicking some BTLs here. He's hacked the peak controller output cutoffs. The delta levels on sim chips are usually about 4 to 5, 6.5 for CalHots. His delta peaks are pushing 12. That's brain-burning territory, Rain. All the drives and chips those BTLs stored on are missing. I never liked Tong, but it wasn't because he was a bad guy. I just didn't like any of the elders. But if he was cooking chips at Delta 12, maybe he burned somebody he shouldn't have. Maybe they flipped their lid and came after him, or a relative did. Isabel gives you a serious look, tipping her head at the synth. The metahuman brain can't handle this kind of output. It'll shut down after a few of these. Okay. That's pretty much it. Hey there, need something else? Looks like somebody went through Tong's things. Has anyone else been inside? Not since I've been here. Before Ip found him. Could have been anybody really. Ip had a key to his place, but the lock's total crap. Any hardy, half-decent at cracking madlocks could have gotten inside. What's missing? The BTL's hard drives and cred sticks are all missing. Sounds like the killer looted his place to me. All this talk of monsters. Yeah, sure. There are scary things that go bump in the night, but most of the scary bumps I hear are from handguns and gangers. What do you do around here, Porter? It's a catch-all category, I guess. I work for Elder Ip. It's a bit like being a deputy. I make sure people don't break the rules, protect people who need protecting. And mostly I just do whatever Ip asks me to. It's a pretty quiet job, but most days. Today's not one of those days. I also handle a lot of maintenance. I don't actually do the repairs, but I've got most of the keys. It makes it easy to ensure the only authorized people get into sensitive places. Electricity goes down, I let the electrician who fixes the wiring. Excuse me. Toilet's clogged, I let in the drone guy who opens it back up. See you later. Hi, Zippy. Oh, Bungo. This orc is busily snacking on a steamed bun. As you approach, he wipes off one of his hands and sticks it out towards you. I'll do him in Zippy's voice.
Oh, hey, stranger, nice to see you, Zippy. Toe tag at your service. How are you liking Wampoa Garden?
Alright, nice to meet you, Zippy.
Nice to meet you too. Listen, I know it's a little forward of me just to say hello and whatnot, but I'm interested in giving you a hand if I can.
Zippy gestures expansively at the squalid neon-lit streets of Wampoa Garden.
This is my home, at least for the time being, and I'd like to stop these killings. We've never met before this, but I know exactly who you are. You're my replacement. The elders had me autopsy what was left of Elder Gan and Elder Nakamura after they got ripped apart, but I didn't want to dig any deeper. So, since I don't know you and I can smell a Shadowrunner a mile away, you've got to be the outsider they asked to stop the killings, right? Zippy tilts his head back, obviously pleased at his amateur deduction. Very astute, that's right. You see, I have good eyes, a lot of good eyes actually, if you're in the market for replacements, only slightly used, and they come from certified donors, I swear. A hearty belly laugh erupts from the orc. Oh, excuse me again. He slaps one of his thighs in elation. When I kill myself. Pretty funny. You stand-up comedian? With jokes like that? Are you kidding me? I'm one of the only trained surgeons around here. I keep the other Wampoans healthy. I got a practice down the road. Blind Chen's a pretty good cyberdoc, but he's basically an implant specialist and that's it. How'd you end up here? I did my residency back in the UCAS. Could have become a real MD too, if things hadn't gone south for unrelated reasons. Zippy opens his coat, revealing a cyberdeck. He pats it proudly. I also deck a little, but I'm better at slicing skin than I see. One power guard, it seemed a good fit for me. Must have a lot of customers. And that's the chip truth. I have to charge to cover my coat costs and eat, but it's damn near free service. But there's always a waiting list. But it's good, honest work. I like helping my neighbours in the community. We all look out for each other. If somebody messes with one of us, they mess with all of us. That kind of community is as rare as gold these days. How many places have an ethos like us? Not a damn corpse, that's for sure. I've lived a lot of places. I've done my fair share of shadowrunning, but this place is special. It's been a long time since I really felt anywhere with a real home. Zippy looks off past you, towards the Bower Garden streets. His expression goes wistful, like he's remembering something from long ago. I'm sure I'll move again, but not for a while. I'm not done with this city or these people. So it's fairly peaceful around here? For the most part, other than these killings, we don't have much by way of problems. We do information security for the Triads, and that makes us fairly impervious to anyone who wants to start trouble. Anyone starts something, we hit them in the matrix. With our Triad friends, hit them in the meat space. Some small-time gangs have tried pushing in here before, but they backed off when they figured out they weren't just picking a fight with Tang and his guys, but with both the Red Dragon and Yellow Lotus. They got the message real quick, what was left of them anyway. Let me ask you about Bower Garden. Sure thing, what do you want to know? What are your thoughts on the murders? There's a sharp intake of breath as Zippy shakes his head. Pretty gruesome business. Gan died from a broken neck. Looked like someone had wrenched it around and his arms and legs were cut off. Some skin flayed away too. Nakamura had his throat ripped out by someone with pretty sharp teeth. At first I thought it was a devil brand, but the teeth marks were all from something with a humanoid jaw. I didn't look at Yen today. From what I saw at a distance, it was the same story. Didn't seem much point since I'd seen it twice already. As for Tom, from what Porter told me, it was Gian and Nakamura all over again. Take a look at him yet? Yeah, it's the same as you described for the others. Zippy shakes his head sadly. Damn, I like Tom. Business is unsavoury, but the BTL business is unsavoury, but the man had to eat, and his regular sims were great. Generally all round nice guy, friendly with everyone. Never had anyone mad at him. There ain't no justice, let me tell you. What can you tell me about the elders? Zippy laughed, shrugging. Well, they're an eclectic bunch, that's for sure. Where to start? And G's the spiritual leader here. She's the voice of the Wampoans, I guess. A lot of her close friends are really more of followers, and she's something of a priest for the machine spirits. Maybe it's a cultural thing for people who grew up here, but it's never called to me. Still, she makes a damn fine pot of tea. Ip's the muscle, and he has an encyclopedic knowledge of cyber and bioware. Definitely a good guy to have watching your back. Not too friendly, but you know how it is. You get a lot of cyber, people start wondering if you'll tear their arms off. Zippy makes a chopping gesture with one hand. He's got moved straight out of Blood Carnival 3. The Reckoning. Terrible movie, but great fights choreography. What about Tang? I don't know much about him, but I think he's got some kind of fetish for automation. I found him cooing over some trids of an automated delivery drone in a warehouse once. He worked with drones, had a shop called the Blessed Elf Autofab. He was raving about the efficiency, the movement patterns of something. You already know about Tom. Round Sims, BTLs, skill chips. Gang used to be a city planner before he had a nervous breakdown and got involved in statistical analysis. Zippy pauses to collect his thoughts. Nakamura came from Fukuoka and was interested in entertainment. Trid mostly. Spent a lot of time analysing the subliminals in ads. Then there was Magpie. She was the chief decker. Hot as hell against IC, but built her own hardware. Solid old woman though. Never met anyone who was quite as shrill or nasty when she was mad. And she was mad most of the time. Wait, nobody mentioned Magpie to me. When did she die? She didn't. Maybe a month ago she just shut. She just up and disappeared. I went to a shop one day and she just wasn't open. Nobody's seen her since. Kind of a pain in the ass too. She had me some new analyze software she'd picked up. I've never heard of Magpie either. She must be one of the newer one borns. If she was the decker, she would have replaced Elder Gao. No surprise there. Gao was older than Kenshin Huangli's Terracotta Warriors. When I was learning decking from him, he could barely get out of bed. Still as fast as hell in the Matrix, though. Can you be new and an elder? Isabel rolls her eyes. It's a stupid name. It doesn't actually have much to do with time spent in the community. That has something to do with it, sure, but it's mostly about how skilled you are, how good your connections are, and how much you can help everybody else. Should have called them experts or something. Bingo, that's exactly it. She was only here for about 3 years, but she knew a lot of people all over the Matrix, in Shanghai and Beijing, all kinds of places. That plus her skill meant she was a shoo-in when Gao died. Why would she disappear? No idea. One day she was here, next poof. At first I thought she was just on vacation, since she had mentioned wanting to see the Kingdom of Hawaii someday, but it didn't feel right. She would have at least told me she was leaving. Seems mighty suspicious to me. Nobody else seemed to care what happened to her, probably because she pissed them off all so bad. Is there any place you think I should start looking? You might want to check out her shop. It's all locked up, but the other elders have a spare key. Couldn't hurt to look around, and even though Magpie was always butting heads with the other elders, they wouldn't have any reason not to let you in. What do you mean they were butting heads? Magpie and the others never saw eye to eye. She was a contrary for the sake of it. Most of the rest had a grand vision for what they wanted this neighbourhood to become. Magpie just wanted to deck. She was only an elder because they needed someone with her Matrix chops. Last big argument was between her and NG up in Nakamura. It was over something relatively trivial. I think Nakamura wanted to expand the pirate trade business into the Matrix, and she just absolutely refused. Why she refused? She said something about not using up valuable bandwidth for trivial entertainment bullshit. Anyway, it went from there, and it this rant about how she wasn't going to let Tang expand his drone business any further because it would get too much megacorp attention. They accused her of blocking them just because she could, which is probably true. Lots of screaming. What do you mean blocking them? Everyone needs our Matrix skills for their business to run properly. There are other deckers, Meisei or Mo, Nebby, but she had the infrastructure. If their project didn't interest her, she wouldn't even give them a time of day. She had a real hard head about having her time wasted, but she figures she's not interested. If she's not interested in something, it has no value objectively. Kind of a major blind spot, if you ask me. Could you let me into a shop? No, can do. Not because I don't want to, but because I don't have the key. You'll have to get it from Ip. He's taken over all the Matrix infrastructures maintenance since Magpie disappeared. He's not as good at it as she is, or I am. But they're not going to let anyone who isn't an elder take care of that kind of critical stuff. See you later, Zippy. Where the hell did I... let's go to the one part. Let's get the key at least. Is there anything we can do for you, Rain? Why didn't you tell me about all the Magpie disappearing? Why would we have? Her departure from the One Pawns isn't related to your investigation. It happened before the killings began. I'm certain she's off sulking somewhere. NG is profoundly indifferent. No doubt she'll come waltzing back next month, all full of attitude that life dared go on without asking her permission. If she does, we'll welcome her back, despite our problems with her behaviour. Her skills make her extremely valuable. I've taken over maintenance of our Matrix infrastructure in her absence, but I'm nowhere near her level. The best I can do is ensure nothing breaks down till she returns. I'd like to take a look around her shop. Do you have the key? Yes, there's a lot of sensitive equipment in there, including our community servers. We don't let anyone who's not one of the Bowen elders in there. Why would you need to look around there? Listen, you want me to find a killer. If I'm going to do that, I have to explore every possibility. Charisma benefits. Very well. Take the key and look around. Just don't break anything or shut the servers off. Is there anything else? I'll be going now. Okay, let's head out from there. So, who's this? Let's just quickly take a look down here. The Merjo. The man has a tired, world-weary demeanour about him. His eyes track your movements with a penetrating, critical precision. Something about him, lines about his eyes, perhaps make you suspect he's seen a lot of terrible things. He lifts his cup of cheap soy calf as you approach. Let me guess, you're the freelancers the elders are paying to look into the murders around here. That's right. Who are you? Call me DeMerjo. I'm not one of the Wampones, but I've been here long enough that they don't think twice about me being here. DeMerjo drains the last of his soy calf in a large cup. So what have you found so far? Awfully curious for a random guy. Professional curiosity. I used to be with the New York Police Department as part of their Thermatological Research Division. Part of the CSI branch, except I did the magical investigation while other guys pulled prints and checked the blood samples. DeMerjo tosses the soy calf towards the nearby garbage can. It bounces around the rim and rolls inside. When I hear about shit like this happening, I keep my ear to the ground. Old habits, you know. So why are you investigating it? Elder NG asked me to look into the killings after the first murder. She couldn't afford my fee, though, so I took a pass. It's not just the money, either. DeMerjo shudders, folding his arms across his chest. You see that stuff day after day, you pay a price. It eats away at you. You know what it's like to feel all that sickness and anger every day? To be asked to pick up a murder weapon and relive somebody's death? Feel it going into your neck, pleading in the voice of a dead woman for a killer to spare you? These days I'd rather interrogate the living, thanks. Sounds awful. Awful, it's more than awful. It's a goddamn nightmare is what it is. One I couldn't wake up from for a long time. Sometimes you have to cut and run, start fresh. At least now I can pick my own jobs. I can read objects. It's called psychometry. A little trick I managed to pick up. Don't really know how. I hold something, I can tell you what happened to it. Who owned it, how it killed someone, if someone loved it or was afraid of it. Useful, but it'll tax your heart. Before he asked me, no, I'm not going to read anything you find. I already told NG I didn't want any part of this. What advice, I'll give you that. But I'm not getting drawn in further than that. So aside from that, is there anything I can help you with? What can you tell me about the Wampones? Don't know much. Even though I've been here almost 2 years, I'm an outsider. They don't really accept anyone who's not as much of a tech nut as they are. I'm just the crazy mage that lives down the road. DeMerjo pauses and looks off into the distance as he collects his thoughts. Rip's got some heavy-duty cyberware, basically an enforcer for the rest of the council. He doesn't seem to set much policy. NG is a shaman that worships machine spirits. It's all a bunch of hokum, if you ask me. Magic is magic. Whatever you want to call the source is fine by me. But don't ask me to believe in the great spirit of electronics. As for everybody else, they tend to be okay bunch. A bit strange, but that's French culture for you. They scrounge tech, rebuild it, sell it off. Some of them even have their own auto-fab shops. Their stuff's pretty high quality too. People from all over Asia come to shop here. If they need something rare or unusual. Tight-knit little community, all things considered. What do you know about the murders? They started a couple of weeks ago. Elder Gan was the first to go. That's when NG asked if I could look into them. They were ripped apart, arms wrenched out of their sockets, skin flayed away with a razor-sharp knife. The rest have been the same. Whatever did it sure didn't care about being a clean death. DeMerjo lowers his voice, leaning in towards you so only you can hear. Funny thing is, the Hong Kong police force was out here a few weeks before that, maybe a month ago tops. I know that doesn't seem like much, but the Wampones don't usually let the police in here. That by itself is odd enough, but it gets even stranger. The officers were loaded for bear too, big guns and heavy armour with NBC seals, the works. They went into the parking garage near here and there was some kind of gunfight. Never made it back out. When backup showed up, the Wampones chased them away. Why would they let cops in and chase them away? And that's exactly what kind of question that you should be asking that the elders refused to answer when I asked. DeMerjo shrugs. Go take a look around for yourself, if you want. Watch out though, gangs taking up residence there, dealing drugs and BTLs. They call themselves the Red Spear, not too violent if you don't push them, but be careful what you say. Tom wasn't afraid when he died. He was caught by surprise. DeMerjo arches an eyebrow. Not what I would have expected. With the amount of mess at each scene, the victims should have left behind a hell of a lot of fear and pain. You sure? Very sure. Tom died tonight, so the astral signature hasn't had time to fade. It was only a sense of perfunctory accomplishment. And it sounds like this wasn't a crime of passion. A planned attack would have had that kind of resonance. In my experience, it's possible for the gore show is to throw off anyone looking for the actual reason. DeMerjo closes his eyes and starts to nod. Yeah. If I wanted to kill someone and get away with it, I'd try and point the finger at some kind of monster. DeMerjo opens his eyes and smiles with a humorless grin.
Basic Investigation 101. It's usually the simplest explanation, but don't discount other possibilities. Think the mess wasn't incidental? It's a possibility. Ask yourself this: if the mutilation happened after Tong's death, why would the killer perform that kind of ritual? Serial killers who engage in that kind of ritual don't feel perfunctory about it. In my experience, it tends to feel more like they're taking communion. It's a religious or sexual feeling most of the time. If this didn't feel that way, I don't think the killer is actually pathological. See you later. What's this? Parking garage. Okay, we'll head there first. There's Kita. This dumpy-looking man is busily hawking a variety of grilled spherical treats of various sizes. Some are sold individually, some are skewered on sticks, and some are packaged up in sets of 4 or 6. A sign on the front of the cart reads, Kita's 1 yen yatai. A cacophony of small trid screens are attached to the cart, each playing a different trid show. Interested you in some dango? Takoyaki? Maybe a nice nikuman. That's pork bun with a Japanese twist. Any kind of tasty Japanese treat you can imagine, I've got it. Maybe some curry fish balls of your speed. The kid will give you your heart's desire, providing the desire is on my menu. Let me have some dango. Your wish is my command, good man. Kira deftly pulls one of the dango sticks out of the cart and drops it into the grill. A small robotic arm slides out from the cart and begins turning the stick until the balls of rice flour are toasted brown colour. Lifting them from the grill, Kira digs the entire stick into a tub of sticky brown sauce before handing it to you. The snack has both a sweet and salty flavour, reminiscent of some sesame seeds and soy. The balls inside are pleasantly warm and surprisingly chewy, a bit like eating raw dough, but without the attendant chalky taste. Kita leans back, studying you intently. The trid projections from his cart cause his face to be lit in a constantly shifting array of rainbow hues. So what brings you to Wampo Garden, my friend? Somehow I doubt it's just the street food. Looking into the killing of the Wampo and elders, Kita shivers, wrapping his arms around his body. I've been hearing a lot about that. I haven't looked too closely, though. It's just none of my business, you know? What can you tell me about the people here? Deckheads, riggers, trip pirates, and everything in between. If I had to define this place, I'd say it's Asia's mecca for people like us. As for the elders, I can give you the basics. I'm a small fry, so we're not exactly on social terms. Magically, you mean? No, I don't think so. She's just really good with people. Lip's a killer, addicted to cybernetic implants. He always has to have the newest and freshest gear. The funny thing is, I've never seen him fight. I kind of get the impression he's a coward. He'd rather let one of his buddies handle a problem than do it himself. All I know about Tang is that he loves drones and does a little decking. Frankly, I find him kind of boring. All he talks about is neural networks, dark knowledge, and evolution of machine learning. Like I said, boring. What's all the trid screens? Kita beams and gestures excitedly at them. You like them? I love trade operas. Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Indonesian, doesn't matter. This way I can watch all of my favourite shows without missing a beat, and I can work at the same time. Pirated trid is my other business. I rip the streams in the Matrix, tap right into the corporate feeds, and resell them out and ship out here. Kita's face falls a bit. His enthusiasm wanes. I wish I could pay the bills, but my food cart's a lot better at that. I don't know why, but most of the other Wampoans seem to like sim over trid. They just don't know what they're missing, though. One episode of 1,000 Cranes of Autumn and they'd all be hooked for life. I'm just at the part where Orin has confessed her love to Takayama. But he's got to get his mech suit out to the front lines on Mars, so he can't be with her. Downright heartbreaking, I tell you. Sounds like an interesting show, all right? Eyes twinkling, Kita leans forward in breathless excitement. Oh, you have no idea. 312 episodes. Chronicling a noble mech pilot and the tumultuous love affair he has with the space station governor's daughter. The pathos, the majesty, the Battle of L'Orange. One spans 5 episodes just by itself. For some reason, I guess it just didn't resonate with the wider public. I don't know why. Who doesn't want to see a trade show about giant flying robots, love, betrayal, and spies? I've got to stop myself before I get carried away. Was there something else you needed? Got any thoughts on the murders? Yeah, ignore them. Kita shrugs indifferently. I saw the crowd down at Tong's Sensory Carnival earlier tonight, but I didn't know the guy very well. I'm a Trid fan. He liked The Sims. Not a lot of crossovers between us. See you later, Kita. Okay, let's go down to the parking garage. Actually, let's head this way. Wait, there's 4 of us. I've got Isabel, Duncan, and Gob. Oh, yeah, it's 4 of us. It's been a while since we've had 4. Can we get through here? No. So we have to go through the gang. Let's try and avoid getting... Red Spear Gang. That's far enough, lady. The woman behefts her weapon, tossing a nod towards the gang is behind her. This is Lot's our turf. If you're looking for a fix, you're welcome to trade, but you're not here for business. Clear the hell out. You try and wander around on our turf, we're going to have to air you out. So what do you say? You looking for a little pick-me-up, a little nitro to give you some pep? Maybe you want some chips. Take that edge off. You want it? I got it. Can I have a look at this around this garage? Woman, you deaf? The hell did I tell you? No, you goddamn can't wander around our turf. The gang shakes her head, mumbling something about idiots with no memory. I'm on business for the Wampone elders. You're only here because they tolerate you. They hear you're blocking me, your ass is going to get kicked all the way to Sun Wan. The gang shifts nervously, glancing around her allies. Okay, I'm listening. What kind of business are you on? I'm investigating the murders of the other elders. The gunfight with the HKPF might be related. Alright, we only moved in here because all the Wampones is too shit scared of monsters and ghosts to come back in. The elders told us it was alright if we moved in here. Seemed happy to have us camped out honestly. Look around, knock yourself out. Just stay out of the way of our business. Excellent. What's in here? Dried blood and bullet holes pockmark the floor. Pillars and walls of the parking garage. Judging by the amount of blood staining the floor, multiple people died here. To call this thing bloody would be to do it a disservice. This is a massacre of tremendous proportions. Look at this, Rain. Duncan points to several scratches on the floor and a pillar. These scratches look like they're from a long-bladed weapon, like a sword or machete. With the number of bullet holes in the walls and the cars around here, they must have just been spraying wildly. Our killer must have fought the HKPF in here and cut them apart. Since they never found a body, I've got to assume the killer got away. Duncan checks the chamber in his assault rifle. I tell you what, I don't want to have to fight this maniac at close range. Dried blood and clots clog the drain. As you look closer, however, something catches your eye. An off-colored red colour that doesn't match the hues of the gore around the drain. Bending closer, it appears to be a small nugget of some kind. Let's fish it out. The nugget, upon closer inspection, is a chunk of some kind of synthetic ferroplastic. It's got ragged edges as if it was broken off a larger object. A number of small markings are partially obscured by scratches. Let's examine the markings more closely. Brushing away some of the dust, you peer at the fragmentary bit of ferroplastic. Scratches and markings on the nugget look like Chinese, but despite how closely you look, you can't decipher their meaning. After a moment, you realize the reason. Not only are the markings fragmentary, the language is actually Japanese. The characters are close enough to be familiar, but too different for you to read. Maybe an expert in armor or foreign languages could help. You know, I'm not sure who speaks in Whampoa Garden speaks Japanese, but Winke Kwok has a shop down the Whampoa itself, by where we met the elders. If anyone out here would know about it, Adama, it would be her. Okay, is there anything else? Okay. Anything else? What happened in the fight here? As far as I know, some police showed up looking for somebody. They got in here and all of them got killed. Whoever they were after was long gone by the time we showed up. Used to be a lot of Wampoans living here, all cleared out, muttering about ghosts and shit like that. You heard anything else about the murders? Nothing much. I tell you what, though, we got a guy named Kang, and he was down in the storm drain system last week. Something was moving down there, big too, man's side, but it wasn't speaking in any language Kang understood. Kid beat feet back here as fast as he could. Dumbass dropped his storm drain key on the way out, though. You want to go looking for whatever it was, you'll have to get a new key from somebody else. Kang stole his from a city worker. Who else might have a key to the storm drains? There's a guy named Porter Lamb who's got keys to pretty much everything. He's somewhere between a cop and a handyman. Jan also mentioned some elf woman with a crazy coloured hair who managed to scam a key. He said she hunted paracritters down there, devil rats and shit. See you later. Okay. Let's head back up to Montbower Garden. And I think that is where we will end it today. So next time I think we will go back to Port of Lamb, see if we can get some keys, and we will investigate the shop. So thank you ever so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. If not, do not worry about it. Thank you again, and goodbye.